Today, we will be presenting our lesson plan for English Literature in Actions, focusing in the short stories titles like Wings by Max Factions. This lesson is designed for Form 2 students with the intermediate English proficiency. And next is learning's objective. By conclusions of the lesson, students are expected to explain briefly the developments of plots, characters, and themes in the short stories. The second one is identify and describe the main and supporting characters and their roles. And third, analyze how the themes and the symbols such as the wings convey the story's moral message. And the last one is express personal interest or emotional response to a part or aspect of the story. Next, learning's outcome. By conclusions of the lesson, students are expected to summarize the story accurately in their own words. The second one is describe key story elements such as plot, characters, settings, conflict, and also themes. Third one, demonstrate the comprehension through short or written responses. The last one, share personal reflections about the story's message or also the moral values. Prior knowledge. Before this lesson, students are expected to understand the basic story elements, which include characters, settings, plot, problems, and also resolutions. And the second one is be familiar with the descriptive language and expressing ideas in a simple English. Third, has prior experience discussing personal experiences, dreams, or also the aspirations in English. The last one is recognize the figurative language and symbolism in simple literary texts. The first step in our lesson plan is set induction, which the main content is introductions to the themes of the dreams, hopes, and courage. For teaching activities, I will start by asking the questions like, if you had wings, where would you go and why? While asking this, I will show the animated flying visuals to capture the students' attention and also create an imaginative atmosphere. Moreover, I will also encourage students to connect with their prior experiences, discussing on the dreams or aspirations in English. This will help to activate their background knowledge before entering the stories. For learning activities, students will answer individually and also speak aloud. The focus here is on quick personal responses to activate the prior knowledge and keep students engaged from the beginnings. The teaching material that I will use in this lesson is animated flyings, wings, and also the projectors, which will visually attract the students' attentions, and whiteboard to highlight the keywords from their answer. This stage serves to engage students' immediate and stimulate curiosities by connecting the lessons to their own experiences. Asking an open-ended questions allow the students to activate their backgrounds, knowledge, practice speaking in English, and they will feel more emotionally invested in the upcoming stories. Moreover, visual aids help to create a stimulating learning environment and support diverse learning style, which ensure that students are ready and motivated in the main lessons. The second step is presentation stage, 10 minutes, which focus on the story's synopsis and literary elements including character, plot, settings, themes, and also symbolisms. So for teaching activities, I will use my DIY visual board titles, your favorite books, which will contain the pop-up elements, flaps, pull tabs, and also mini envelopes to reveal hidden story elements. Using these materials, I will present the short story like Wings by Max Factions. While unfolding the story visually, I will highlight the main point exactly as stated in the lesson plans. The first one is synopsis, a brief retelling of the stories. The second one is characters, Shane's, which is the main characters, and other supporting characters. And third one is plot and conflicts, Shane's personal struggles and emotional growth. The last one is themes and symbolisms, where wings representing freedoms, courage, and also dreams. So during this process, I will invite the students to interact with the visual boards, such as opening a flap or pulling a tab. As each section is revealed, I will explain it and ask different levels of questions according to a student proficiency, following our differentiated strategies. For learning activity, students will observe and interact with the visual board, listening carefully to the explanations and following the story visually. They will take a short notes on the key ideas and later answer comprehension questions individually to demonstrate their understandings. So the teaching material that I use in this step is DIY visual boards titled Your Favorite Books. This stage allows students to engage actively with a story through multimodal learnings. This visual board supports the visual, auditory, and kinesthetics learners while making abstract literary elements more concise. Interaction with the materials can enhance its comprehensions and retentions, while questionings at different levels address individual students' needs, and reinforcing critical thinking and literary skill. Students take notes and responses demonstrate the immediate applications of understandings, promoting both cognitive and participatory engagement in the lessons.
Okay, I'll be continuing for the practice stage for this presentation. For this practice stage, I'll be focusing on a collaborative group discussion activity. In this part, I divide the students into 4 to 5 mixed ability groups. So, I will give them digital story elements through a canvas slide. So, these digital story elements contains prompts related to characters, conflict, theme, and symbolism from the short story like Wings. Before the discussion starts, I play a short video clip from the story to help students recall the main events visually. This also supports visual and auditory learners. So, during the discussion, students work together to answer the prompts and record themselves about the answer and upload it into Google Drive. So at the same time, I move around the class to support them. For lower proficiency learners, I provide sentence starters and vocabulary list. For higher proficiency students, I encourage deeper analysis and connections to real-life situations. This activity lasts for about 12 minutes. After the discussion time is over, each group sends one representative to present their answers to the class. Okay, I project their recorded video on the screen so everyone can see. So during the presentation, I ask follow-up questions to help them expand their ideas. I also give brief feedback by highlighting their strengths and offering 1 point for improvement. Meanwhile, the rest of the students listen to the presentations and compare the similarities or differences in each group's analysis. This helps them think critically and understand the story from multiple perspectives. This group presentation and feedback session takes around 8 minutes. So, overall, this practice stage prepares the students for the individual essay writing in the next part. By discussing the characters, conflict, and themes together, they develop a stronger understanding of the story like Wings.
Okay, now we move to the production stage. In this stage, it shows the individual essay writing activity. At this point of lesson, I wrote the essay prompt on the whiteboard and clearly explained the requirement, which was to produce an 80 to 100 word essay. And then I also remind students to focus on 3 important elements of the story like Wings, which is the theme, the moral values, and the symbolism of the wings. At these points, it helps guide their writing so they could express their understanding accurately. Once all students complete their essays, I collected them immediately. Instead of marking them after class, I chose to mark the essays on the spot because I wanted students to receive instant feedback. And then, while marking, I highlight the strength and their writing first to motivate and encourage them. Then, I give 1 or 2 simple suggestions for improvement based on their language use, clarity, or understanding of the story. After that, I written the essays right way. Students read the comments, identify the strengths and weaknesses, and made short notes or corrections. This immediate feedback helped them reflect and improve their writing while the lesson was still fresh in their minds. After that, students work individually in their exercise books. They also wrote about what lesson they learned from the story and how it inspires them in real life. This task allowed them to express their personal reflections and apply the story's message to their own experiences. The teaching materials used were the whiteboard and markers for displaying the prompt And then the projector for visual support, the student's exercise book for the writing task, and pens or highlights to provide direct and immediate feedback during marking. The closure, I gave a brief summary of everything we learned during the lesson. Okay, this includes the story's plot, characters, themes, and the symbolism of the wings, of course. I also gave short comments on the students' overall performance, especially their effort in analyzing the story and completing the essays. This helped reinforce what they did well and what they can continue improving. Before ending the class, I share the future plan for the next lesson, which is to explore a new short story in the literature module. I encourage the students to keep reading, keep thinking critically, and always connect the moral values they learn in stories to their daily life. For this closure step, the material used were the whiteboard for the summary points, the reflection slide to guide the final recap, and a story quote to reinforce the moral value of the lesson. Okay.